Well, here I am. I'm going to try narrating this one instead of the music, which I know most of you really hate. Still have this darn cough. Okay, this mummy was a lot of fun to make, and it's very, very easy. And here are our tools and our clay. As always, make sure you condition your clay extremely well. We are going to start by rolling out a very thin sheet of clay and make it thin. I think I made mine a little bit too thick. You want it pretty thin, and my clay was very soft this day. We've been having a lot of hot, steamy weather here, and even the air conditioning can't seem to keep up. Anyway, cut quite a few strips because we're going to be bandaging this mummy. Sorry if you hear cars. We have a lot of traffic out there. I'm not really sure how this microphone is going to work. I'm beginning to think it might be my computer and not the microphone. All right, now you can use scrap clay to make his body because you're going to be covering every inch of it. Or as I did here, I just used Super Sculpey. And I also want to say this is being made as a pin, and the one I'm making is probably a little too big for a pin, but I wanted you to see how it was made. And if I made it any smaller, it might be hard to see. You can also make it as a hanging ornament or a pendant. And I think if you wanted to make some matching earrings with this, with posts, just make his mummy head. You'd have some matching earrings. Back in the 80s, I used to sell sets of earrings with the matching pin, and oh my gosh, they were such a good seller. And you're just going to wrap his body and wrap his body, and I'm not going to make you watch me wrap the whole body, so we will be jumping ahead to the point where I'm done wrapping the body. And just randomly wrap the body. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, mummies are just, I mean, this is Halloween. You want it to look pretty rough. Now, the one thing that happened with me because I didn't make my clay strips thin enough is that my mummy he's a little chunky. All right, now we're going to make the arms and we're going to wrap them before we add them to the body. And I want you to make a neck, press on the neck, and I also want you to roll out the head. I like to do this when I'm working with one color clay so I don't have to constantly wash my hands. See what you can do with that same color before you move on. All right, wrap the arms, and again, I'm going to jump ahead because you probably don't want to watch me wrap the arms. You can do that at your own pace. Randomly, just wrap them randomly. This might be a fun one for the kids too. They might enjoy this. All right, now we've got the arms done and I have pressed them on. And I am going to have him holding a broken heart. So we're going to change the arms up a little bit, press them on a little differently because he's going to be holding the heart later. But first we're going to make the head. And when you wrap this, make sure you leave a section open for the eyes. And we've all seen mummies. We know what they look like, so you got to leave the eyes section open. Although we're not really going to give him eyes. We're just going to poke holes in and put some black clay in there so they look like deep and empty. You can just tell looking at this that my clay is way too soft. Oh no, my mummy's falling apart. That's all right, just put the arm back on. Stuff happens. Make sure the head's on very well. The only reason I'm doing this with the needle tool is because the clay was so soft that it just made it look like one big bandage. But I didn't really need to do that because I will be covering that. Oh, excuse me. I think I've got the hiccups. Oh, I do. Oh, no. I will carry on, though. Right now, he kind of looks like an astronaut, doesn't he? Flying through space. I hope you're enjoying everything this month. We're just doing Halloween. I may make an ornament or two. I have to see what my time frame is. Now, I tried making the heart like this. I didn't like the way it looked, so I did the two teardrops and put them together, and then I kind of zigzagged them apart to make them look like the heart was cut apart or ripped apart. You can make up your own story about who broke this poor mummy's heart. Although it looks more like he broke somebody else's heart. Now we're just going to add that on. Now this is the time to really press those arms on, make sure they stay on. And after I bake him, I'm going to use red paint to make blood dripping down his legs. It is Halloween, so make it gory. I'm going to press in 2 holes for his eyes. And they look pretty dark here, but you need to put the black clay in. Because I want his eyes to kind of look like they're hollow and empty. And when you put the balls of black in, press them down with, I use the end of my little paintbrush. Because you don't want it to look like a ball. I want it to look kind of concave. I think that's the right word. Not sure. Like a bowl. Make them look like a little bowl. And of course, you want to cover the gap between the eyes with some bandage. And if you see any open spots on his body, just patch them up with little pieces. And we're almost getting to the end. And I think at the beginning you saw the finished picture of him with the paint dripping down. And you can actually make him into a hanging ornament. But I think I'm repeating myself. I said that before. Well, this guy was fun to do. I hope you enjoy him. Check out everything else we have for October. Have fun, guys.